Hi everybody, this is Vinny and welcome to Complain Time. This is a show where we take a moment while the boss is out of the office to talk about things that really just quite frankly annoy us to death. Because you know what they say, when the cat's away, the mice will play. Or in this case, complain about stuff that just drives us all crazy. Now before we go any further, I want to give you guys an opportunity to hit the subscribe button and ring that bell to be notified so you never miss another episode of Complain Time, as well as other additional content. Now today's topic that I want to get into, something that really gets on my nerves, working overtime. Now, I know usually when I mention an office-related problem, I tend to say there's something bothering me at this particular moment, but I'm happy to announce that is not the case. In fact, on the rare moments where I've had to work overtime here at HVMA, it hasn't really been that bad. I've actually enjoyed it. It's kind of fun. So this is an office problem that I am addressing in general. This is not something that's geared towards me personally. I'm talking about the general notion of having to work overtime. Now sometimes you're working overtime because your boss is forcing you to. This is the ultimate douchebag move of any boss to do. Now, I understand the boss is in charge. And when your boss asks you to do something 9 times out of 10, you're supposed to do it. In any job I've ever had, I understood there were some cases where we would have to work overtime. And 9 times out of 10, if a boss politely and respectfully asked me to work overtime, I did it. And the times where I said no was when I had something important to do outside of work. Or if the boss was just a But what bothers me is when a boss forces you to work overtime, when they have no regard for you as a person or the life you have outside of work. Any boss that does this is not a boss you want to work for, because that's a boss who cares more about money than the well-being of his employees. And it also means he or she is more likely to replace you in a heartbeat if they feel you're not killing yourself enough for the company. And you can actually refer to the Rude Bosses episode I did a while back if you want to know more about bosses like that. Now, other times, you're working overtime because you choose to. It's a choice that you're making. No one's forcing you to do it. Most people do this because you have the idea because you want to make more money or earn the respect of your boss and coworkers. In fact, whenever I worked overtime in retail and I came home angry and pissed off, the one thing my parents would always say to me is, "Hey, at least you get more money in your paycheck." More money, more money, more money, more money. And I wanted to strangle them every single time they said it. But I didn't, because I was so tired after work, I simply didn't have the strength. And while it is true that you make more money working overtime, more money, more money, more money, it comes at a heavy price. Your mental health can suffer dramatically from all the stress you're enduring getting the work done. And it can happen to the point where you end up burned out and unable to work at all. As I mentioned before on Wednesday Wisdom, loyalty and longevity is not always rewarded, which means if your boss isn't appreciative of the hard work you're putting in, it can cause you to become angry and bitter and resentful of the people around you. And that can happen to the point where you completely lose your passion for the job, which in turn will affect your work because you simply won't give a and you do a half job. And I can tell you from personal experience, it can also affect relationships. Because my name is Vinny Bucci, and I'm a workaholic. And this addiction has cost me a lot of relationships in the past, because I was so consumed with work that I neglected and lost a lot of friends and girlfriends over the years, including the one I talked about in the birthday episode a few months back. So take it from me. While working overtime seems like a smart idea in the beginning, in the long run, it can do more harm than good. You have to give yourself a physical and mental break every now and then from the job. Whether it's a day off, 2 days off, leaving right at the end of your shift, taking vacation time, whatever it is, you have to allow yourself the freedom to have a life. Because if you don't, that money is only going to take you so far. And you'll miss out on a lot of great moments in your life. And if you're a boss watching this, make sure you are asking people to work overtime, that you are respectful of the life they have outside of work. For example, if you know someone has a wife and kids, save them as a last resort when asking people to stay. Also, try to rotate the people you need to stay. Don't ask the same person over and over again to stay. And if no one is able to stay, be prepared to do the work yourself. Because, hey, you wanted to be the boss. You wanted to be the person in charge. And sometimes that means having to work some overtime yourself if necessary. I believe that's why they call it leading by example. Well, anyway, I can see my boss is making his way up the stairs, so that'll conclude complaint time for today. So before you guys go, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button and ring that bell to be notified so you never miss another episode of Complaint Time, as well as other additional content. Check back soon for a new episode. Until then, stay social.